Hello, good evening and welcome to News 360 live from our studio here at Adesanwe Kanda in Accra. I am Martin Asiedu-Dartey.
And I am Ayisha Yakubu. Coming up, the headlines.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
Government says it has sought assistance from U.S. experts to investigate content of the black box from the military Z9 helicopter which crashed last week, claiming 8 lives.
Also coming out of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU, and other commercial transport operators threatened to demonstrate against government over the delay in fixing the Pokwase in Sawam Road.
The Electoral Commission conducts balloting for the Akwatia by-election as political activities pick up ahead of September 2 contest.
Later in business, World Bank projects 0.6 percentage points revenue boost for Ghana in 2025 if the 2025 tax measures are fully implemented.
And in news from elsewhere, U.S. President Donald Trump says there is a 25% chance his meeting with Russian leader Putin on Friday will not be successful. We're live on TV3 Ghana, on Facebook, all across the world, on 3news.com. Stay with us for the details.
We are starting from issues regarding last week's tragic incident. Now, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, has confirmed that experts from the United States of America will be arriving in Ghana soon to probe the black box from the Z9 helicopter which crashed last week. The minister says although the aircraft was manufactured by the Chinese, the president wants the Americans to assist with investigating the content of the black box to alleviate all doubts.
I can confirm to you that on the instruction of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, we have formally requested the Americans to come in and assist. We all know that they have considerable expertise when it comes to these matters. And so the indication we have received from the Americans is that they are very much willing to assist. We think that it is important to bring in independent experts to ensure that the outcome of the investigations will be acceptable to all, so that there will also be confidence in the process. Nobody has anything to hide, and it is important that this process is done in a very thorough manner, in a manner that will be at par with best practice, the international gold standard. That is what President Mahama wants us to achieve. So I can assure you that our note verbal has long been issued. The Americans have responded, and we are expecting the arrival of American experts soon to help us with the investigations. You do know that I am a member of the Armed Forces Council and the National Security Council. And so I can confirm to you that the Chinese have already been contacted and the manufacturers are standing by. Indeed, the briefing we have received from the CDS is that there is a standing protocol where the black box must be, as it were, made available to the manufacturer, in this case, the manufacturers of the Z9 helicopter. And so they are standing by. But in the president's wisdom, the president does not want anything to proceed without independent experts. And I think that it is quite fair.
Also, President John Dramani Mahama is to lead a ruthless fight against the Galamsey menace in the country, which has devastated not only rivers and forest reserves, but also families. This comes on the back of increased public calls for the president to fight the canker, which also led to the death of some 8 Ghanaians in the helicopter crash. This was disclosed by Foreign Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa.
I can confirm to you that you are going to see a fight has never been witnessed in this country. President Mahama is going to lead a very ruthless and relentless campaign against Galamsey. He has not minced words at all. We had a brief cabinet meeting earlier today, and the president was very clear. There was no ambiguity that he will be leading a war that we have never seen to deal with this canker, this existential threat, once and for all.
Staying on issues of Galamsey, and the 4 illegal miners arrested following a clash between the Bontreso community and the IGP Special Anti-Galamsey Task Force in the Amansie West District of the Ashanti region have been transferred to Accra for further investigation and prosecution. Wednesday's confrontation led to 2 police officers sustaining injuries after the residents pelted the task force with stones. Here's a report by Stanley Nibleu.
The Special Anti-Galamsey Task Force advanced operations to Bontreso, where they observed an excavator actively engaged in illegal mining within a pit, causing extensive environmental damage in the community. The team moved in to seize the excavators at a time where a large tract of land has already been degraded. While effort was at it to tow the excavator away, a group of illegal miners led by the assemblyman of the area mobilized and began pelting the officers with stones and other dangerous objects. The assemblyman is reported to have incited the miners to attack the police, openly daring the task force not to tow away the excavator while threatening bloodshed.
Protect the laptop! Protect the laptop!
2 of the illegal miners wielding pump-action guns opened fire, endangering the safety of the officers. During the confrontation, ASP Bawa Abdul Jalil and General Sergeant Agblekpe Mawena Yao sustained injuries to the head, mouth, and leg. The miners then blocked all exit routes to trap the team. While attempting to clear the blockade, the officers came under live fire and responded with appropriate force to neutralize the threats.
Whilst about to move him, 2 gentlemen came forward that they were the owners of the excavators, and all of a sudden the community started mobilizing to attack. Some started even throwing stones to attack the police. I think basically the area is becoming chaotic, but with our professionalism, we are just trying to make sure that we secure the area and be able to move the machines out of this jurisdiction.
4 suspects in the persons of Patrick Asari, the assemblyman of the area, Akwatia Mponsa, Osei Vasco, and Owusu Alexander were arrested by the police. All suspects are being processed for transfer to Accra for further action. The team eventually regained control of the area, dispersed the hostile crowd, and safely transported the seized excavator to the Mansuedubia police station for safe custody and further investigation. 1 other excavator was left at the site due to imminent threats to officers' safety.
The fight is not an easy one. We swore to fight in the peril of our life. And today was a manifestation of that vow that we took to protect Ghana, our motherland. And we are not backing down until we achieve the success needed.
The incident underscores the high level of hostility, coordination, and armed resistance from illegal miners. The IGP's men say future operations in the area will require reinforced security presence, advanced tactical planning, and readiness for armed confrontation. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News.
Moving on, the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU of TUC and other commercial transport operators are threatening to demonstrate against government over the delay in fixing the Pokwasi-Nsawam Road. In a statement issued on August 14, the group lamented that the deplorable state of the road has made it unmotorable and poses extreme dangers to motorists, commuters and residents along the Pokwasi-Nsawam stretch. The commercial transport operators say they continue to grapple with high operational costs due to the bad nature of the road, which requires frequent maintenance and changing of spare parts. The drivers are therefore threatening to park their vehicles and embark on a protest against government if their concerns are not addressed in a week. Let's go on to the phone lines now and speak to the Industrial Relations Officer of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU, Alhaji Abbas Imoro. Assalamu alaikum, Alhaji. Thank you for joining us on News 360.
Salam, and thank you for calling.
Now, have you engaged the Ministry of Roads on these grievances that have been captured in your release?
No, we haven't engaged.
But shouldn't you do that first and then get some response?
We did not engage him because we spoke about this road. He invited us. We attended the meeting, and at the meeting, he addressed the issue. And even for me, in about 6 weeks' time, we shall see a very big change on that road. True to his words, that very week, we saw machines on the road. And some few days, all the machines vanished. We were patiently waiting until the said 6 weeks elapsed. Currently, the situation has gotten from bad to worse. And a road that one should not spend more than 10-15 minutes, that is from Pokwase to Ankwandoblo or in Sawam. Now you have to spend not less than 2 hours. Hence, we have to come out. We know very well when we speak, those in authority will listen, they will act. Because they know if they don't act, we will also take the polite action that we have promised to take. So, hence, we use this.
But Alhaji, if you can speak up a bit for me, I'm finding it difficult to hear you. But the minister also says that they are going to pay contractors to come and work on the road. Why can't you wait for that to happen first?
He promised 6 weeks, which has elapsed, and we are suffering on the road. You know, we are working. We have to work daily for our daily bread. And where you have to spend 10 minutes, we have to spend 2 hours. And you still expect us to keep quiet. My dear.
So, Alhaji, within that 1 week you've given government, what kind of changes are you hoping to see before you hit the streets?
You are also a Ghanaian, and I strongly believe we did not say we shall fight anybody. We said after 1 week, if there is nothing done, no action taken, we shall park our vehicles.
Okay, Alhaji, thank you very much for joining us on News 360 tonight. Alhaji Abbas Imoro is the Industrial Relations Officer of the GPRTU.
Still watching News 360 on TV3. We're going to one of our headline stories, which has to do with the Akwatia by-election, which is in the offing. So the Electoral Commission earlier today conducted the balloting for the Akwatia by-election as political activities pick up ahead of September 2. The NPP's candidate is number 1 and that of the NDC is number 2. Beatrice Edu is in the Akwatia constituency and has come through with this report.
The atmosphere is quite calm here within the Akwatia township, currently located around the central business area, where I'm sure you can hear in the background a lot of activities going on here. And it is also the same place where the office of the governing NDC is, where you can see women and men dressed in NDC colors, some of them selling party paraphernalia, busily campaigning, well, indirectly and silently ahead of the September 2 parliamentary election. By now, you would know that this is going to be a very fiercely contested parliamentary primary, with a survey coming from the Global Info Analytics indicating that the MPP is leading by 6%. Now, when you're entering the town, you will see huge billboards of the opposition MPP's candidate Solomon Asumedu with a bit of a little picture of the late MP Eric Kumi attached to the photo of the candidate, kind of confirming the opinion that indeed the opposition MPP would like to count on sympathy votes. And so that's practically what's happening here. But there's not a lot of political activity or campaigning going on in the town. But I just told you, I'm currently at the office of the NDC. And the parliamentary candidate is here, lawyer Bernard Bediako Beidu. Hello, sir. You're welcome to TV3.
Thank you.
And I want to first find out from you your preparations and what it is looking like, even in terms of security.
Okay, thank you so much. As you can see, we are very much prepared. You can see our cars are lined up. We are almost on our way to some other towns within the community. Today is a market day for Akwatia, and so you can see a lot more people are in town. And fortunately for us, our party office is so close to the market. And so we will start off with the market, get to speak to the people, let them understand the need for them to vote for me and then the NDC, so as to facilitate development within the Akwatia enclave.
Let me tell you that today the Electoral Commission had the balloting for the candidate, and we do understand that the NDC parliamentary candidate that I'm talking to right now was number 2, and then the MPP candidate Solomon Asumedu was number 1. We understand that there are 2 other political parties that are taking part in this parliamentary primary. But lawyer, let me ask you, there are a lot of critics who think that all along when you were working with a defeated parliamentary MP, perhaps you were working against him because you unseated him and now you're the candidate.
No, I mean, we've gone past the stage. I always say that this is no issue at all because this is a political party. I'm not just a lawyer. I was also the constituency secretary. So even as I was working in court, I was also representing my party as the constituency secretary. We've gone past the stage. As you can see, if there was any issue between myself and the Honorable Yadom Boache, if you've seen in the news and on social media, I'm always with him. In fact, this morning, he's even around. He's in the office. I was even having a chat with him. All is well. It's virtually the same. It's still the same party. We are united. We know what we're doing. And so that issue is no issue at all. I've never worked against him. I went all out in the interest of the party.
The Ablekuma North election rerun has caused a lot of fears in people that there could be violence again. What is your commitment to peaceful elections, a parliamentary primary on the 2nd of September?
Yeah, very well. I mean, I'm grateful for this question. Let me be very blunt here. Look, nothing will happen in this constituency. Nothing will happen.
And now President John Dramani Mahama has charged African political parties to prioritize the interests of women and the youth to secure a better future for the continent. Representatives from across the continent gathered in Accra for a 3-day political party summit to discuss crucial issues affecting Africa's development. Christian Yali reports.
It was more than a ceremonial gathering. The African Political Parties Summit tackled urgent issues facing the continent. With politics largely seen as a means to winning elections, there has been a call for a reawakening. Fifi Fiavikwete is the chairman of the steering committee of the Africa Governance Center.
It's time for us to be able to finally remove the veil so that our real capacity can be shown to the world. It simply means that beyond the conversation, we need to start having that fire in our belly that will make us truly decide that enough is enough in order for us to truly do something that the world can truly be proud of. We, more than any other group, need to be able to start awakening in order for us to truly manifest the great potential that is really at our disposal.
National Chairman for the National Democratic Congress, Johnson Asiedu-Dartey, called for political will to deliver the mandate of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement.
This summit has reminded us that political parties must be more than election-winning machines. They must be enduring institutions that channel political competition into constructive governance. We must carry with us a renewed commitment to political maturity and to place the welfare of our people above narrow interests of party or self.
Representing the President of Ghana, Julius Debra, the Chief of Staff, made the official closing remarks, calling on all the political parties represented to champion the interest of the youth and women to secure a better and brighter future for the continent.
Making progressive and intentional agenda to promote women and youth affairs. And I think that is what our future holds. If we don't make proactive and intentional objective to push the interests of the youth and women, Africa as a continent will have ourselves to blame in the future. And I thank you for considering that as one of your declarations. I'm so happy that you stress on that point, that part of your declaration should be that going forward, we should build our multi-party democracy based on the heritage of our people.
The summit ended with a call for government technocrats to be held accountable alongside politicians to ensure transparency and good governance.
Away from that, let's go to the courts now. And the Office of the Attorney General is urging an Accra High Court to strike out yet another case filed by Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu. The Chief Justice is in court once again, seeking to halt the ongoing impeachment process, insisting one of the entities behind the petition, Shining Stars of Ghana, does not have a legal status. Documents filed on behalf of the Attorney General by Deputy Attorney General Dr. Justice Sremsai want the High Court to rule that the CJ's request has no basis in law. And that is part of the ongoing issues regarding the removal of the Chief Justice, which he has been battling over the last few months. So let's take you through some of the specifics that the CJ has sought and why the Attorney General is asking it to be struck out. So the Attorney General is saying that the case filed by the Chief Justice discusses issues meant for in-camera removal proceedings, means issues that are not supposed to be in the public domain, so they cannot be discussed publicly. The issues are therefore not admissible in court. Again, it says Shining Stars of Ghana might be an unincorporated body of persons. So that's the argument that the Attorney General is making. And also says such an entity does not necessarily have to be incorporated or registered to exist at law, and a court ought to exercise jurisdiction to strike out a case filed by the Chief Justice.
According to the Ghana Statistical Service, multi-dimensional poverty continues to affect millions, especially in rural Ghana, where the rate is more than twice that of urban areas. In the final quarter of 2024, 36.7% of rural residents were classified as multi-dimensionally poor, compared to just 17.4% in urban centers.
Nationwide, 7.3 million Ghanaians, roughly 24% of all households, are living in multidimensional poverty, and nearly 44% face severe deprivation. To tackle this crisis, the government rolled out the Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty program, known as LEAP. It provides cash grants to the most vulnerable, elderly citizens aged 65 and above, persons with severe disabilities who cannot work, and pregnant or lactating mothers with infants under 1 year. In 2024, poverty in rural Ghana surged dramatically. Rural areas recorded a poverty rate of 59.8% compared to 26.9% in urban areas. Greater Accra and Oti regions were the only two to see an increase in multidimensionally poor individuals between the third quarter and the fourth quarter. In Accra, the number rose from 1 million to 1.1 million. In Oti, from 550,000 to 570,000. In Accra, health-related challenges were the biggest driver, accounting for over 57% of multidimensional poverty. LEAP has grown rapidly. As of June 2025, more than 400,000 households across Ghana have been enrolled since its inception in 2008. The cash grant has also increased from 728.8 million Ghana cedis to 953.5 million Ghana cedis.
The cash grant for one eligible member household has increased from 256 Ghana cedis to 320 Ghana cedis. The amount for two eligible member households has increased from 304 Ghana cedis to 380 Ghana cedis. The amount for three eligible member households has also increased from 352 Ghana cedis to 440 Ghana cedis. Finally, the amount for four or more eligible household member households has increased from 424 Ghana cedis to 530 Ghana cedis.
But with poverty deepening in some regions, the question remains, can LEAP alone lift the extremely poor out of poverty, or is a more comprehensive long-term strategy needed?
You're still watching News 360 on TV3. Stay with us. We have business, sports, entertainment, all coming up.
I love President Charcoal. Why? When there are so many other charcoal toothpaste. That's both charcoal and lemon. Oh, does it? Yes. Look right here.
Yes. Pepsodent Charcoal has two of nature's powerful whitening ingredients. With the power of activated charcoal and lemon essence, it removes stains and whitens teeth naturally.
Convinced? Well, I am. Just look at your beautiful Pepsodent smiles.
For naturally whiter teeth, Pepsodent Charcoal.
Why are more and more professionals choosing Flamingo paint?
As an interior decorator, I aim for that beautiful, elegant look. Flamingo paint has great hiding ability to cover and transform old walls easily with just one coat.
Impressive. For me, as a professional painter, I love Flamingo paint because with this small paint, I paint huge area, meaning more profit for me. Great value for money.
As an architect, Flamingo paint, with its well-researched and solid composition, guarantees durability for all my buildings.
Flamingo paint, superior hiding, superior coverage, superior durability. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson,
Me didn't tum. Mr. Freddy Calico, just call me cockroach. Now, Mr. Freddy once now.
Hey, is that you?
Improve car.
Yeah.
Captain Mosquito, double the accent. Me did it, Sasso spray. Mr. Freddy Sasso quell. Yeah, too much assassin.
Tum preko.
How may I help you today?
reporting from the Takoradi Market Circle.
From the heart of the Upper West Regional Capital.
From the heart of the Ashanti Kingdom.
Reporting from Sunyani.
From the Central Business District of Navrongo.
The parliamentarians are on recess.
This is where it all unfolds. The moments that potentially alters the course of our nation and the world. This is where it all unfolds. The moments that potentially alters the course of our nation and the world. These are the individuals we recognize, the voice we amplify, who appears behind the scenes. With professionalism at our core, we bring you news.
But only if government fully enforces the tax and spending reforms in the 2025 budget. The bank says these measures are also vital to meeting targets under the IMF-supported program.
The latest Ghana economic update from the World Bank projects that full implementation of planned revenue measures could boost Ghana's income by at least 0.6% of GDP next year. World Bank Country Director Robert Taliesio says the gains will require strict enforcement of the tax exemption law, creation of a comprehensive tax expenditure register, and stronger capacity at the Ghana Revenue Authority to roll out the integrated tax administration system and conduct risk-based audits. The bank also wants government to fully adopt public financial management tools such as the Ghana Integrated Financial Management Information System and the Ghana Electronic Procurement System across all state institutions. It further commends integrating all spending accounts into the Treasury single account to improve transparency and control. The report concludes that better tax administration, a wider tax base, and stronger public finance controls are essential for sustainable fiscal consolidation.
Away from that, renowned economist Kwame Pienim has emphasized the critical need for Ghana to leverage its vast human capital to drive economic development. Speaking on the country's progress, Pienim asserted that Ghana possesses the talents and expertise to succeed in any field, from data and medicine to technology.
According to Kwame Pienim, the primary challenge is not a lack of skilled people, but rather a failure to effectively put them to work through strategic empowerment.
We are people who can mine and process our lithium for transitional energy, who can mine our gold mines and employ Australians, Chinese, South Africans, Americans, Germans to help them do it. They have the technology.
The renowned economist has rejected the notion that some sectors of the economy are too capital intensive for Ghanaians to manage, thereby requiring foreign involvement.
We can also use government sovereign debt to raise the money to capitalize these Ghanaians. That's what the others do. They don't have the money. Their governments make sure that they have access to banking. If our insurance and pension funds were strong, by now we'll have some capital to lend to our people. The Teachers Fund, which I helped them set up, but for the bad fiscal policies we've had, would have been worth $2 billion by now.
Kwame Pienim urged government to prioritize the empowerment of indigenous entrepreneurs.
We have the opportunity. We have the resources. We don't need foreigners to come and do that. But you and I, we are worried when a Ghanaian is becoming a millionaire or a billionaire, and therefore we put obstacles in their way. The only way to grow this economy is to have Ghanaians know that only we can grow our economy. Nobody else can grow it for us.
Pienim's remarks underscore a growing sentiment among economic observers that Ghana's prosperity is intrinsically linked to its ability to support and develop its local entrepreneurial ecosystem.
And now the government of Ghana is recalibrating its domestic borrowing strategy, signaling a more cautious approach to the money market following a significant undersubscription in its previous Treasury bill auction. For its auction scheduled for tomorrow, August 15, 2025, the government aims to raise a more modest 4.24 billion cedis across all tenors.
1.24 billion cedis represents a notable reduction from the last auction, where it failed to meet its target. According to official results from the Bank of Ghana, government only managed to raise 6.68 billion cedis against a more ambitious target of 8.58 billion cedis in its most recent treasury auction. This left a shortfall of 1.90 billion cedis and ended a brief period of oversubscriptions. This strategic shift towards a more modest borrowing target could be an attempt to align with prevailing market conditions and investor appetite, which appears to be waning. Analysts suggest that the consistent failure to meet borrowing targets could signal a need for government to reassess its fiscal needs and debt management approach. Government's borrowing strategy is under close scrutiny as it works to meet targets set under its IMF-supported program. The ability to manage domestic debt effectively, particularly through treasury bill auctions, is a key indicator of fiscal health and a prerequisite for maintaining investor confidence. This latest move to lower the borrowing target could be a proactive measure to ensure a successful auction and avoid further shortfalls.
We'll now take your attention to the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which says it expects the Bank of Ghana's policy rate to fall to 20% by end of this year. The projection follows an assessment by UK-based research firm Capital Economics, which forecasts a decline to 23% by December after the central bank recently cut the rate from 28% to 25%. Speaking to journalists on the sidelines of the 4th Intra-African Trade Fair, GNTCI Chief Executive Officer Mark Bedouaboaji said the cost of borrowing remains high, posing a challenge for businesses.
I think that we should get to a level where we get to about 20% by the end of the year, looking at the dynamics. I mean, the first one, 3% reduction for me is very huge, but 25% policy rate is still high. But looking at the fact that inflation is trending downwards, the cedi keeps on strengthening. And then we have a huge reserve, both in dollars and also in gold. It created opportunity for the central bank to also ease the monetary policy. So I'm expecting that by the end of the year, at least we should get by 20% for the policy rate. And that, for me, will bring down the interest rate. 25% means the interest rate will also be hovering up more than 25%. So when you bring it 20, then obviously the businesses will get interest rate slightly above 20%. And that, for me, is very good because we'll be able to borrow and expand our businesses, and we will also be able to employ more people to reduce the unemployment rate that we have in our economy.
Also, the Ghana Association of Banks has welcomed the Bank of Ghana's announcement of sanctions targeting willful loan defaulters, describing it as a necessary step to address the country's rising non-performing loans. Under the new directive, individuals who deliberately default on loans could face a 5-year ban from accessing credit from any regulated financial institution in Ghana. Speaking to 3 Business Chief Executive Officer of the association, John Iwua, said the industry's loan default rate, currently above 20%, is deeply concerning.
The directive has to do with non-performing loan and regulatory intervention to bring the rate down. It's good for the ecosystem, it's good for banks, it should be good for depositors, it's good for borrowers, and it's good for the entire financial system. Why do I say that? A non-performing loan is a big stress on banks. When you have the long NPL or non-performing loan ratio hovering around 20, not too long ago it was at 24%. Now I'm told it's around 20%. When you have that as your non-performing loan ratio, when you test with the economies just around us, you find that we are complete outliers, which means there's something not right, either with our loan sanctioning regime or with the credit environment, other regulatory framework available to manage risk.
Away from that also, the Vehicle and Assets Dealers Association of Ghana has expressed concerns over recent seizures of allegedly stolen imported vehicles by the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO. The association says the operations are causing panic among buyers and disrupting sales across the sector.
In fact, it's not good news. When this news broke up,
People are asking so many questions, both online, telephone calls here and there, right? When the buyer is coming, they ask that, oh, we've been hearing that these days they say the car that you people sell is a stolen car. And for you to answer this question also, it's a very difficult thing because, you know, it is not our fault, it's not the fault of anybody, and nobody also expected this, you know, to happen to us. So in fact, it has not been a very good news to us at all. What I propose to address this matter is that sometimes some of these issues are security matters. When it comes up, and quickly the news comes into the system, everybody becomes scary. Your activities and your movement and all that becomes rigid, because the person who is coming doesn't know. You too don't know. The person who even brought it sometimes might have even gone back to wherever he came from. So I propose that when news like this comes, our authorities should come down, invite the people that they think that should be invited, collaborate with them. And I also ask that some of our members that have been falling victims to these situations, right, should kindly cooperate with the security agencies.
Let's now take a look at what's happening on the forex and commodities markets. And that's how we wrap up the business segment tonight on News 360. I am Menu Afo. Stay with us. More news updates come up next.
sports segment is brought to you by
Sasso insecticide spray and coil.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360 with me, Horeku Ampofo. We start off from our first story where Ghana's Women's Premier League champions, Police Ladies, have been handed a tricky draw for the 2025 WAFU B Women's Champions League qualifiers. The draw, which was conducted on Thursday morning, saw Police Ladies put in Group E, which is made up of 4 teams. The Ghanaian champions will come up against Nigerian League champions Bayelsa Queens FC, Association Sportive de la Cosa from Togo, and Benin Samnelli as part of their group games. Police Ladies are making their first appearance in the regional tournament after winning the 2024-2025 Malta Guinness Women's Premier League. The WAFU B Women's Champions League qualifiers is scheduled to get underway on August 23 in Yamoussoukro, Côte d'Ivoire. And so let's just remind ourselves of how the group would look like with regards to Police Ladies as they embark in Africa for the first time. And so it's Police Ladies, Bayelsa Queens, Association Sportive de Cosa, and Sam Nelly. To some more stories where the Premier League, widely regarded as the most exciting football competition in the world, has seen several Ghanaians leave their mark over the years. Legends like Odate Lamte and Tony Yeboah paved the way, but one man who truly lit up the league was former Chelsea star Michael Essien. Now, with 24 hours to the new season, my colleague Mutala Yakubu looks back at the journey of the midfielder.
Nicknamed the Bison for his unmatched strength and commanding presence in midfield, Essien joined Chelsea from French side Lyon in 2005 for a then club record fee of £24 million. He quickly became one of the Premier League's most dominant midfielders, not only shielding the defense but also producing spectacular goals.
Absolutely staggering.
During his time at Stamford Bridge, Essien won 2 Premier League titles, was named Chelsea's Player of the Year twice, and earned widespread praise from teammates for his relentless work ethics and influence on the pitch during his playing days.
Michael Essien, very strong, powerful, good on the ball as well. He has so much energy going forward, backward, and he's a quality player. It's always nice to have someone like this in the team.
He's a wonderful guy. It's really funny. Doesn't look like, but he's a really fun.
Essien admits that playing in the Premier League was a dream fulfilled, though it came with its challenges. He believes the league's intensity and the passion of its fans are what makes it the best in the world.
When Mourinho took over from Chelsea, and he said he wanted me to come to Chelsea, and I was happy because my dream is to play in the Premiership. Well, the Premiership is more or less playing in Africa because the contact is the same. In Africa, there's a lot of contact, and in England as well. So in England, it's good because almost every game the stadium is full. I remember my first game when I went to Chelsea. My first game was against Arsenal, so I was staying in a hotel there. So I came down to go to the dressing room, and the first thing I saw was this fan. Chelsea fan. The whole of his back is a tattoo of the Chelsea logo. But I never saw that when I was in France.
His story is also inseparable from his bond with former Chelsea manager Jose Mourinho, the man who signed him. Mourinho famously described Essien as a son.
He was not my player, he is my son. I'm his white daddy. And that's the feeling. He's more than a player for me.
Essien's legacy in the Premier League is secure, with over 100 appearances for the Blues etched into history. As the 2025-2026 season kicks off on August 15th, Chelsea fans will be hoping that players like Moises Caicedo can follow in Essie's footsteps and inspire the club to glory once again.
Oh, that is Michael Asian bringing an end to the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Oreku Ampofo.
Let's now bring you some arts and entertainment tidbits from the world of showbiz.
Nigerian superstar Tems has advised young musicians to be true to themselves and not succumb to pressures to change their sound or style. Speaking in a recent BBC interview, the Grammy Award-winning singer stated that being audacious and believing in her style led to her success. So I would say how I did it. How I got there is really through authenticity and being audacious, like believing in yourself so much even when people tell you to change your sound, change your style. You look at them and you say no, she said. The Me and You singer admitted that her unwavering stance caused her early opportunities, including record deals, but she had no regrets if it meant not being signed. It was okay with not being signed. I went to a couple of places that didn't sign me, and I was okay with that, she stated. Nollywood director Nosa Rex has apologized to Ghanaians over criticizing a Ghanaian TV station for pirating his film Prince of Peace. In a video posted on August 12, 2025, he used strong language and expressed frustration over piracy, warning it could harm the Ghanaian entertainment industry. Following backlash, Nosa clarified on August 13 that his comments were directed at the TV station involved, not the Ghanaian people, and apologized for his tone. He emphasized that piracy disrespects the hard work of creatives. Sean Kingston and his mother were convicted of wire fraud involving of $1 million in luxury goods. The singer, currently out of a $100,000 bond, in a sentencing memo, Kingston lawyers argued that home detention, calling it a substantial punishment. They note most victims were repaid. An outstanding reinstitution is minimal. Ahead of his August 15 sentencing, several supporters, including family, fans and community members, submitted letters vouching for his character.
Why you leave me? Hey. Baby tell me, baby tell me. Yeah. Why you leave me? Why you leave me? Why you leave?
Let's find out what's happening on the international front.
US President Donald Trump says there is a 25% chance his meeting with Russian leader Vladimir Putin on Friday will not be successful. The US president says he's had a good meeting with the Russian president. He will call Ukraine's President Zelensky to arrange a second meeting. It comes as the White House says Trump will exhaust all options to end the Ukraine war. Here is what we know so far about US-Russia summit in Alaska. Meanwhile, President Putin praised Trump's sincere efforts to end the conflict with the Kremlin, saying the leaders will hold one-on-one talks. Earlier, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said Putin must prove he's serious about peace after meeting Zelensky at Downing Street. Gambian police have charged 3 women over the death of a 1-month-old girl who had undergone female genital mutilation in a case that has sparked an outcry across the country, where the practice persists despite a decade-old ban. The 3 were charged under the Women's Amendment Act 2015, a landmark law criminalizing female genital mutilation, FGM, despite being outlawed. FGM continues to pose a significant challenge in the Gambia, with some communities persisting in the practice.
That's it for News 360 this evening. You can find more news on 3news.com. I am Ayisha Yakubu.
And I am Martin Asiedu-Dartey. Join Alfredo Kanse at 10 p.m. for Ghana Tonight. Bye for now.
La